So everything in the universe is governed by laws. So everything has a certain law that is attached to it. Or so a law is actually a layer. It means a layer. So a law is something that underlies something like a layer. Okay, so that is something that's subtle, something that founds something foundational. That's a law. So everything has something that is foundational towards it. So this layer is also exemplified in an onion. An onion has different layers, so many different layers. So understanding that will give you a lot of insight into what we're dealing with. So everything has something about it. So ancient Egyptians used to regard onions as sacred because of that reason, because it reveals the secret of the universe, that everything is layered. So if you want to get something, chances are you want something in your life. There's something that you want, something on your mind, something in your heart. So if you want something, you have to understand that there's a law attached to what you want. There's an angle attached to what you want. There's a certain way of getting what you want. So you have to understand that. So everything is made by God and through God. So give it all to God and do it through God, and you'll get it, because He is the law, He is the layer, He is everything. Okay, so understanding that will take you a long way. So if you want to get anything that you want, there's a principle that is attached to it, like giving to getting. That's a principle. Okay, and another powerful principle that you need to understand is that of being humble. All right, so to be humble, what does humble look like to you? What is to be humble? So to be humble is how you can get what you want, because if you humble yourself, then there's a law that you will be uplifted. If you're proud, there's a law that says you'll be pulled down. So being humble is the reason why Moses, the one who called himself the most humble person on the earth, that's the reason Moses met God until his face was shining. That's the reason why he was given the task of leading people out of a stray land, like to go to the land of milk and honey. So if you want to go to the land of milk and honey, you need to be humble. That's how you see the face of God. You need to be humble. So the actual act of humbling yourself is how you lie prostrate. Like when you're being humble, you make yourself small, put your hands together, and you start to pray, right? So that is what humble looks like. Prayer is you making yourself as small as possible so that you can be big in terms of the outcome of that prayer. So praying makes you humble. All right. But the actual act of like being that is humble. Imagine a person is being beaten up in front of people. If he's being beaten up, he's going to get to an extent where he coils into the fetal position. So that's the most humble position. When we come into this world to get all of the glory of being man, we're first humbled, and we're in that fetal position. If a person is scared, they're in that position because they humble themselves. So when people are being humble, they get as close as possible to the ground, because the word humble is where we get the word humus. Humus. So humus is soil, the ground. This is where we come from. So when a person is being humble, they get as close as possible to the ground. That's why like people lie down when they see like a king. Get as close as possible to the ground. Make yourself as small as possible. And that is how you become humble. So this is the principle of humility. If you want to get anything, you have to humble yourself. So to be humble is to be able to be satisfied with small, is to be able to be content with a little. So this is the opposite of pride. So if we look at the principle, the law itself, is that it says that if you humble yourself, you'll be uplifted. And then if you look at what's made, there are a lot of devils, right? But the devil, the first one, if you look at what made the first devil, which is what every other devil does. So what made the first devil fall from heaven was the fact that he was proud. Pride. That's all it is. So everything else falls under pride. Everything that is a problem in your life is because of pride. Everything that is a problem in Kanye's life is because of his ego. So this is what ego is. your pride. So everyone has an ego, but then you have to control it, or you have to direct that energy. So you have to be able to develop a certain pride in what you do for other people, not what you do for yourself. And if you do that, then you're able to direct that type of energy, because everyone has an identity. This is I. When you think about yourself, I, that is pride. That's the I in the middle of pride, is just you. So you're in the middle of everything. That's the I. So you're just thinking about yourself. But if you think about what yourself can do for other people, then you begin to dissipate that energy, and your life begins to serve others in whatever way. Even if it's like giving a guy $1 to eat lunch, you're not thinking about yourself at that moment, but it's a way of you humbling yourself, knowing that there's a bigger picture. So humble means humus. So people come from the ground. So everything that is off the earth is humus, and people come from the earth. So us being humble is us getting to understand our roots, knowing that we are just off this earth, that we're just dust. So this is humble, humus, human. So human, the word human, Human, you and man. So hue comes from the word Hue, which means color. So everyone has a certain color. We have a certain hue. So hue is a color tone. So a tone is a sound, but a sound is a color. So all sounds are colors. There's a video about that I have. Sounds are colors, colors are sounds. So the hue is the sound. So the hue also means figure of speech. So people are all figures of speech. Hue, man, is a figure of speech. The figure, the appearance of speech, the appearance of the sound. So that is what a human is. So we are a human, figure of speech, being, to be. We're a human being, something. So whatever you want to be, whatever you want to become, whatever you're doing, you have to be humble first. Human, be. Alright? So you first become humble, your humility. So what does humility look like? So if you want to do something, you have to understand this principle, that you are human, you are a hue, and everything else falls from that. So you have to understand that your humility is going to give you anything that you desire. So your humility might mean that you have to be quiet, you have to be patient, you have to keep your mouth shut. So humility is the greatest form of wisdom. If you can't be humble, then you can't have what you want, because pride will steal it away from you. Pride is tricky, because there's pride in everything. Pride forms all of the problems in our life. They say that if it wasn't for women, man wouldn't work as hard. So men work hard to impress women because it's pride. Why do they buy those cars? Why is our society the way that it is? Have you seen the ads? They're all sexual, so that people can be proud of the person that they're with. It's all about pride. Our whole society is pride. So if you can overcome that, if you can be human, then you begin to reach a higher vibration. So human is Human. This is hum. Okay. So everything is a sound, everything is a vibration. So human is a figure of speech. The speech is a voice, a vibration. It's humming. Hum. So this vibration is what we're supposed to be at. The hum. This is why they meditate saying that, because that is human. The human vibration. The hum. So this will make you reach a higher level of thought when you're humble, because you will begin to see everything. This is why if you ask a person a question, the first thing that they're going to do is to hum. Hey, what is the capital city of Canada? Hum. You see, they hum and then they look up. So this is the human thing. This is the human vibration. This is a human frequency. So if you understand that, then you'll know that everything comes from the ground. Everything comes from the sound. So this is what human is. This is what humility is. This is what humanity is all about. So it's not about being proud and getting the most stuff, but it's about looking at the roots, looking at the foundations, looking at the laws. So the law is the layer, which means that it lies under. This is the foundation. The law is humility, because the ground is the is the is the layer, the subtle layer that we all stand on. And this is where we get our being, our human being, humus being. So yeah, we are that. This is what we are. Humans, we are just a vibration. We are humming. So the sound that you're making should be the sound of your vibration. So you can only hum with your mouth shut. This is why you need to be quiet. Still yourself. You can't hum like no. You hum. So human, whether you're a man or a womb, man, woman, you're still off this ground. A womb man and a man, both, we're still off this ground, and we have to be humble. So this is the way that you get anything in life that you want. Just humble yourself before God and see what happens. It's a law, it's a principle.